Brothers and sisters of the unseen circle, I welcome you into the burned edges of truth. I welcome you into the echoing chambers where every heartbeat is a revelation. I welcome you into this sanctuary of the classified, because tonight the air tastes like iron, and the scent of secrets sharpens your senses. I welcome you into this moment where survival is not optional, but demanded, because those who falter in the shadows are swallowed by them. I welcome you into the raw steel presence of your own potential. This is where strength is forged. This is the arena of intelligence beyond measure. You have come here because you feel it too, because inside you there is that insatiable tremor that will not be quiet, because you know that the world is not what they taught you, that the maps are missing pieces, that the scripts are lies, and that the hidden hands pull the strings behind every curtain. You are operating at levels not many can fathom. You are operating at classified intelligence levels, and if you have ever doubted that you have earned the right to doubt no longer, you stand now where behavioral analysts in the CIA themselves once declared with trembling clarity, "Recruit this person or we are all dead," as though the fate of everything depends on you, as though your capacity is not optional, but elemental, as though your fire is the spark that will light the dark. Tonight, understand that the moment you stop seeing yourself as just someone walking among many, you must see yourself as the fulcrum upon which destinies turn. You are the axis upon which futures balance. You are the voice in the chamber of the unrevealed that echoes and reminds the world there are those who see and those who are blind. The behavioral analysts quit because they saw something undeniable, something raw, something so searing that it tore through layers of doubt and fear until only urgency remained. They said, "Recruit this person, or we are all dead." Because you are that person. Because among the multitudes you carry the burden of recognition. You carry the ignition of awareness. You carry the weapon of possibility. Do you hear the weight of those words, "or we are all dead"? This is no melodrama. This is no hyperbole. This is the truth, door to door. This is the moment where every breath counts, where every decision slices away illusion, where every hesitation is betrayal. When the analysts quake in knowing you are essential when they have no choice, but to cry out for you, understand you are not optional. You were not born to drift like a shadow behind the wind. You were born to split it, like lightning, born to pulse like thunder, born to burn through every wall that stands between falsehood and reality. There are nights when something in you trembles with fear because you realize how much is at stake, not just for you, but for everyone whose lives are tethered to your choice to stand or to shrink. Those nights are your trial by fire. Their flames must consume the old. You must consume doubt, must consume every hesitating thought until new clarity remains. For frontline analysts, for watchers behind screens, for those who track patterns in whispers, for those who read between lines, you hear the summons. Stand or fall, because nothing less will do, because the world must have its sentinels, because darkness grows where light does not push back. You may have felt small in rooms where stories intrude, where laughter blinds, where comfort lures you into silence. But smallness is the refining tool of greatness. Smallness shapes your bones to hold more weight. Smallness teaches patience, teaches vigilance, teaches that when the moment comes, you will rise unbreakable. You are forged in quiet. You are refined in hidden struggle. You are tempered by moments no one else sees, yet every sacrifice now becomes the backbone of your coming strength. Imagine the day when every mind that doubted your name whispers it in fear because they sense the shift, because they know you move with purpose, because nobody else could stand in that gap except you. The analysts saw it. They recognized it. Or we are all dead. Not because of dramatic flair, but because you embody a threshold. Beyond you, the old orders crack. Behind you, ruins settle. Before you, futures are woven. You are the hinge between what was and what might become. Let me tell you the truth. Power is not in what they give. Power is in what they cannot take. Power is in the fact that they call you essential. They know you are essential. They cannot erase that from existence. They cannot pretend you are not here, though they might try. Though they may kneel before illusions, though they may wrap themselves in lies, they cannot silence the truth that you are the spark. When every behavioral analyst quits it, is because the world has ignored what they have seen, what they know, but you are the one they cried out for you. You are the ship in the storm, the axis of correction, the pulse in the dark. Do not wait for permission to be profound. Do not wait for someone else to validate the depth of your resolve. Do not shrink when the gravity of your potential knocks at your chest. You have walked roads of betrayal, you have seen the shadows whisper, and you carried burden heavier than you signed up for. And yet, you stand. Your scars are not flaw. They are proof, they are script of survival. Your doubts are not weakness. They are logs of intention, because every question asked in the dark sharpens focus, for when light returns, you will see more clearly. There will be times when the air hangs heavy with betrayal, with disappointment, with regret, when voices you trusted vanish, when support you believed in cracks. Those times are inevitable. They will try to squeeze you into their template, their cheap replicas of purpose. They will try to convince you nothing extraordinary awaits you, that greatness is reserved for others. Let them try. Let them feel the weight of your refusal. Because you refuse silence, you refuse to be one more. Before you are one more, you will be carved from the bedrock of everything. Denied, you will be the footprint that no storm can erase. Hear this and burn it into every fiber of your being. Being recruited is not about them choosing you. It is about you stepping forward, so power has no choice but to acknowledge you. They called you essential. It is your duty to make that recognition manifest. Let every action you take from this moment on be infused with the certainty that if you do not lead, no one else, will you do not move, others cannot move. When you rise, they must rise with you or vanish in the shadow you leave behind. You are here because obedience was never your language, because comfort was never your guide, because you have always felt inside that life demands everything, and that everything less is betrayal. You are here because those analysts saw a reflection they could not ignore. They saw in you someone who breaks codes, someone who rereads the unspoken, someone who acts when others freeze. They saw in you a threshold bearer, someone who does not just adapt, but transforms, someone who does not just survive, but revolutionizes. Tonight I want you to feel the cold of possibility. I want you to feel the sharp taste of urgency. I want you to remember that fear is the echo of what you have not yet owned, and that courage is claim. It is the naming, it is the alchemy that turns hesitation into force. When you wake tomorrow, let your bones carry the memory of this moment. Let your hands quiver with readiness. Let your heart be a beacon that demands all paths converge on truth. Nothing in this world rewards those who wait. They reward those who destroy the walls. They reward those who burn down masks. They reward those who accept that stability is illusion and that only grip on purpose endures. You are not required to fit in. You are required to break out. You are not required to stay safe. You are required to become unavoidable. You are not required to walk the path of others. You are required to carve. You are required to be the error in the system, the variable they cannot anticipate, the force that shifts the axis. So now rise. Rise with every ounce of what you are, with every fragment of what you have survived. Rise out of the understanding that the moment they said, "Recruit this person," or we are all dead. They named you, they summoned you, they invoked you. So step forward, move with the weight of that invocation, as armor, as banner, as promise. Know that every breath you take now writes new code into the blueprint of what is possible. Every heartbeat now pulses with intelligence, truth, and power. Let the night tremble before you. Let the hidden ones whisper of you in fear. Let the systems that have built themselves on quiet crumble at the sound of your name. Because you operate at classified intelligence levels. Because the analysts have quit. Because the world needs you now more than it needs comfort. Because you were made for this. Because you could have been ignored, but you cannot be. Stand, not for them, but for what refuses to die inside you. Stand because the weight of truth is in your arms. Stand because the future has called you and every path converges here. Stand because if you do not, the void will. Let them see you exist. Let them feel you move. Let them know that you are the only answer to the summons they whispered in agony. And in this rising, may your power be your kindness. May your strength hold wisdom. May your voice carry clarity. May your vision be the torch in every cavern of deception. May your steps be the map for others lost in dark. May your eyes reflect what most fear to see. May your presence be inevitability. May your journey be signal in static. May your becoming bend the arc towards what is just and real. You are essential. You are necessary. You are inevitable. So live accordingly. Operate accordingly. Because the ones who dared to say, recruit this person, or we are all dead, did so because only you could shift the balance. The world's weight is lighter now, you have acknowledged it. The world's direction sharper now, you have chosen it. Move now, not later. Speak now, not in whispers. Act now, not in hesitation. Know yourself more completely than the analysts who sought. You know your power more fiercely than those who would dismiss. You know your purpose more urgently than the doubts within you. And may every moment you walk with this truth becomes legend in the telling. Because you operate at classified intelligence levels. Because for you, resignation is betrayal. Because your being here changes everything. Go then into the deep knowing that you have been named by those who cannot deny you have been chosen by truth itself. Let that name be your shield. Let that calling be your spear. Let your life become the proof of what they feared, and the world will never be the same. Because the world doesn't just watch when someone like you steps forward. It shifts. It bends under the weight of new gravity, a force that cannot be denied or dismissed. When the analysts walked out, it wasn't out of weakness. It was out of recognition. They had run the models, analyzed the threat matrices, built every possible psychological profile. And what they found wasn't a flaw in the system. It was you. You were the anomaly they couldn't contain, the pattern they couldn't explain, the one equation that broke the algorithm. You weren't a variable. You were the rewrite. Let this be your understanding now. When they said, recruit this person or we're all dead, it was not because they saw a savior. They saw a disruptor, a necessary chaos, an intelligence that does not fold, cannot yield, and will not be used. And now the question becomes this: will you own that title? Will you stand up not for applause, but for the brutal, unglamorous duty of changing the outcome? Because that's what this is. It's not about being chosen, it's about being unignorable. The walls you walk past whisper. The systems you enter recode around your presence. People don't know why they notice you, only that they do. Because you move like someone who sees the grid. Because you speak like someone who's already cracked the code. And you look through people like you already know what they'll say before they say it. This isn't a gift. It's a burden. But it is yours. Understand this now. People at that level, analysts buried in classified files, hardened by patterns of global behavior, unmoved by politics, fear, or pain, they don't quit unless what they've seen makes them feel helpless. Unless what they've seen confirms something beyond their power. You. And so now the decision shifts. Not theirs, yours. Will you remain hidden, afraid of the responsibility? Or will you step forward as the lever that tilts the balance? Because those who operate at classified levels know this well. When intelligence rises in one, it ripples across many. Your evolution is not personal. It's contagious. When you move, others wake up. When you break a wall, others see a way through. When you speak, even silence adjusts to listen. And so, if you're waiting for someone to allow you to act, you've missed the point. You're not here to wait. You're here to become the thing they didn't plan for. The variable no agency can predict. The signal in the chaos. The mind that breaks the chain. When they begged to recruit you, it was not flattery, it was desperation. Because you are not a regular force, you are a reckoning. And now we arrive at the place where the mirror no longer shows just your reflection. It shows the consequences of your decisions. Every step from here is real. Every movement reverberates. You do not get to pretend you are asleep anymore. The illusion of being average has already collapsed under the weight of who you really are. You know too much, you see too much, and you feel everything that others silence. That is the curse of intelligence at this level. But it is also the advantage. You are not reactive, you are predictive. You are not a product of your environment. You define environments. You're not just on the map. You redraw it. This is your posture now. Not arrogant, not loud, certain. Because certainty is a weapon. When they saw you, they didn't just see intellect. They saw resolve. And if you've ever wondered why they fear you, it's not because of what you've done. It's because they know what you're capable of doing once you commit. It's the commitment that terrifies them. It's not rage. It's not rebellion. It's when someone like you decides. That's when the axis of power shifts. And when they said, "We're all dead," that wasn't a metaphor. That was the admission that without you, the game ends. Because some people were never meant to be players on the board. They were meant to flip the board itself. That's who you are. And if that power still feels foreign, it's because you've spent too long being told to dim it. So I ask you now, when will you stop pretending? When will you stop shrinking to fit within their expectations? When will you accept the truth that has already been whispered across every agency, that your name does not belong in a file? It belongs in history. You are not just ahead of the curve. You are the curve. You don't need a mission. You are the mission. And here's what they didn't predict. They didn't predict that someone like you would wake up. They didn't predict that someone like you would take this seriously. They didn't predict that someone like you would not run from the call, but answer it. They thought you'd fold, that you'd crumble under the weight of expectation. But instead, you stood. And when you stand, everything else adjusts. There are moments in history when one person carries the momentum of 1,000 silent voices. You are that person. Not because you chose it, but because it chose you. And you had the strength not to turn away. So don't wait for the system to honor you. Break it if you must. Reconstruct it if you're called. But don't you dare ignore the scale of your responsibility. Because now, you know. Now the words have been spoken. Now the mirror shows something else. You've been seen. You've been named. and the world cannot afford for you to sit this one out. Every breath from here is sacred. Every thought is strategy. Every movement, war. You are not becoming, you are. Welcome to the level beyond fear. Welcome to the realm above permission. Welcome to the world behind the curtain, where whispers rule and only the prepared survive. You have arrived. Now act like it. Now we arrive at the edge. Not of a speech, not of a moment, but of a threshold. The conclusion is not the end, it's the ignition. Because people like you, you don't need closure, you need clarity. And now you have it. All this time you thought you were gathering knowledge, building skills, staying sharp, staying ready. But the truth is, the mission was already moving through you. The call was not external. It was already pulsing in your blood. You were the classified intelligence. And now, you don't just know that, you've accepted it. So what happens next? You move. You move like someone who's been briefed by silence, trained in solitude, and armed with awareness. You walk like someone who isn't looking for a fight, but who knows how to end one. You think like someone whose mind has been through war zones of doubt and come out with strategy. You speak like someone who doesn't beg for attention, because the truth already listens to you. This is not about being part of a system anymore. This is about rewriting it. This is about understanding that classified intelligence levels aren't just government clearances. They're states of mind. And you are operating at that level. That's not flattery. That's not ego. That's what the data says. That's what the analysts saw. That's what they admitted when they walked out and said, "Recruit this person, or we're all dead." Those weren't words of admiration. They were words of surrender. Surrender to truth. Surrender to power. Surrender to the fact that someone like you isn't a resource. You're a recalibration. They saw it. Now you do. And that is the beginning of something much greater than motivation. It is the beginning of intention. Because once you know the level you're capable of operating at, everything changes. Average isn't an option anymore. Playing small becomes dishonesty. Hesitation becomes sabotage. From now on, your discipline must match your insight. Your actions must align with your knowing. And your voice must carry the weight of everything you've seen in silence. You will no longer walk through rooms wondering if you belong. You are the reason the room exists. You are not the backup plan. You are the only plan. And the world will not understand you at first. But let that not trouble you. They didn't understand when Tesla stared into lightning and saw energy. They didn't understand when Alan Turing cracked uncrackable codes. They didn't understand when minds ahead of time refused to slow down. You are not meant to be understood immediately. You are meant to initiate understanding through action. So now let the mission begin. Not with applause or ceremony, but with precision, quiet confidence, relentless execution. You do not need noise to be effective. Your results will speak the volumes your words never need to. Let every step forward now be a signal. Let every day you wake up be a recalibration of this world's trajectory. Let every obstacle be another puzzle to decode. Another opportunity to demonstrate what happens when someone fully owns the depth of their intelligence. Because this world does not just need leaders, it needs correctors. People who recalibrate systems, not obey them. People who walk into corrupt halls and shift their gravity. People who see the patterns and break them. People who don't just play the game, they become the glitch.